It's me, Vera, here to remind you that this is an adult podcast. That means we're going to deal with tough topics. Take a break if you need it, and be kind to yourself, because we sure won't be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stitch of Fate, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition podcast. As always, I am your storyteller, Mike Martin, today joined by 5 wonderful players, Dot, Josh, Mark, Bub, and KP.
Woo-hoo!
Welcome back.
KP.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry you had to join us for such crazy shenanigans, KP.
No, I'm absolutely honored. Thank you so much for having me. This is a joy. And I was telling Mathis yesterday, I'm an absolute fan, and I don't know if all of you know, I know Dot and Mathis know, but I'm all caught up. I speed run through all of it, and then I think the last 2 episodes I've been able to watch live. So
awesome.
It's been a blast. It's been a journey.
It has been a journey. As of this episode, last week, the listeners got to listen to our one-shot. As we got a full-on episode, we gave them a full-on special. So they know where Kadir has been and the things Kadir has gone through, but our Coterie here has not. Hopefully they'll learn a little bit more today. But before we dive into the show, which I'm sure everybody's eager to do so, a big thank you to everybody over on Patreon. As always, you guys are the reason we are able to do this. If you guys want to support us, go to patreon.com/podbynight. You get a bunch of little bonus stuff. And hey, even if you're not a patron, you can jump onto our Discord and hang out with us and talk about the story and throw theories and talk about characters and talk about your own campaigns that you've got going on. There's all kinds of people chatting over there in that community. And if you are a patron, you'll get access to a little secret room that, we have little secret conversations about. So you can go check that out over on our Twitter, where it's also twitter.com/podbynight. And you can find a link tree and find all the connections to everything you could possibly want, including merch, Discord, Patreon, etc. I think that's it. We've only got 2 episodes left, which is crazy. I cannot believe we've been doing this show for almost 2 years now, which is nuts.
Episode 56.
And today is the penultimate episode, and I'm very excited to see how this all goes down. So without further ado, if everybody's ready, let's rein things in, set the scene, and see what our coterie is up to. The first visual that we see as the camera fades in from black is long fangs leaving the neck of a girl with bicolored hair, a pleather skirt, and now a grimace on her face. As the camera pulls back, we see that these fangs belong to none other than Kadir. As he stands over Mia, Mia stumbles back a couple of steps, weak from the feeding, but still conscious. Kadir licks his fangs, dabs his lips to ensure no blood falls onto his now year-old suit. What does he say?
That's better. Now, get me out of here.
She takes a moment to steady herself. The person that was standing over by the double doors at the front of the basement, the person that was offered to you to feed from before you decided Mia was the one that was going to be fed upon, walks over and helps Mia walk out. They throw open the 2 tin doors as they take the 4 steps up out of this concrete hole. And for the very first time, Kadir, as you step out with them under the moonlight, you actually are able to see your surroundings and realize that you are far from New York City. Somewhere in the middle of the woods. It's hard to tell exactly where. And as you look out past the trees, a little in the distance where you can see some light peeking through, you see wooden buildings lined up, almost like a campsite. And as Mia leads you through the trees and you break through, you see that you are surrounded by fence and an area that looks like a compound, with many different plain wooden buildings stacked next to each other in orderly rows. But what makes it eerie is just how silent it is. There's not a soul here tonight. The only people walking on this ground with the grass crunching beneath their feet are you and the 3 others that arrived to break you out. But as you're let out through this compound and you walk through under these makeshift lights and with string lights strung between them to give a very faint orange glow, you realize just, how empty this place is. And you made your way to the front where this double gate chain link fence kind of rolls open. And out front, a car running waits. Mia gets sat in the back while one of the others goes to the driver's side. The other 2 seem like they're going to remain behind, but they open the door for you.
I look to check, is there any form of traps? Any form
Wits awareness, wits investigation. I imagine you're not making it secret that you're looking for traps. So you're kind of at an advantage in the moment. So, wits investigation, please.
Okay.
5 successes as you criticaled. We watch as Kadir stops, takes a knee, runs his fingers under the car, looks through under the seat, maybe even peels back some of the leather where he's going to sit just to ensure. Scopes the car all the way around, front side, driver's side, passenger side, and even the trunk gets popped open. And when he is satisfied that this car is not trapped in any way, Kadir, you step inside. Shut the door as the leather creaks under your weight as you sit down, and as the door shuts with the clack, this 80s Buick that you're in. The car roars up a bit. You can hear the tires kick away some gravel, and you make your way to a paved road and start making your way toward New York City. And as you make your way there, you can just tell by the skyline and where you're at, you're north of New York City. The question I have is, Mia would stay rather silent. Is there anything you would want to ask, bring up, or speak about?
So he, after a moment of just silence, just taking in the surroundings, if nothing else, actually just trying to understand the path that is taken, kind of overall, I feel like being here for so long, he kind of understands the locale, the geography of the area. So based off of that, would he be able to understand where exactly or general area he is at and kind of suss out or assess the path that would have led to this place?
Make me an intelligence resolve check, please.
Okay.
Oh, man. You criticaled again, but it's a bestial, but that's not too big a deal in this moment. So that's 6 successes. Yes, you are well aware of actually where you are. It's the moment you hit the highway and the orange lights start passing by one after the other rhythmically, and you look beyond. You realize where you are, and you could easily find your way back here if you had the time.
So I think at this point, he just turns to her and just says, "Talk."
Her gaze kind of goes from looking out the front of the car to her right and away from you and out her passenger side window. About what?
I am in no mood.
So ask your questions directly and I'll give you your answers. What do you want?
Where is he?
In town.
Doing?
An Elysium is happening tonight. It's being bombed.
Who called the Elysium?
Prince Arturo.
Prince?
And that catches you off guard, as obviously Panhard was the prince. However, you had known the prince had disappeared for a little while. But then you too ended up disappearing. And it may not be surprising that the Harpy is the one that moved in and took the position. But how Kadir feels about it, I'm not sure.
You don't really see any changes in expression. Rather just a nod of understanding.
Sure.
Just seems like understanding based on what happened, that appears to be the logical steps that would have been taken place.
Certainly. And I can see Kadir seeing that.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of just stares ahead and goes, "So, broke me out after a change of heart. Sudden moral quandary? What brought this about?"
She stays silent for maybe a beat or two as you see her shake her head. Nothing about me's changed. It's everybody else. He wasn't who he said he was. He broke my trust.
Well, still a dead girl then.
She actually will not respond to that at all, and continues to stare out the window. He's going to see Vera tonight.
She'll be fine. Always is. My question to you is now what your next steps are. Or was this all just a last-minute, unplanned event? Am I to just count my lucky stars?
Again, a few beats of silence. I pride myself in being prepared, but I was blindsided by this, so... Yeah, and she finally breaks her gaze out the window before she turns to you. Yeah, last-ditch effort. Anything to stop him at this point.
At this point, Kadir actually starts to chuckle. So you decide to break out a broken old man, beaten for a year, hungry and desperate. For what? Change? Swoop in like a hero and fix all your problems?
She shakes her head as you say these things. I don't need you to fix my problems. I simply want Father stopped. As she looks to you, she kind of looks you up and down. I could have drained you. I contemplated it.
So could I.
But I found it better to not. Maybe it's me being some stupid subconscious hope that when all this is said and done, and if you're victorious, you take pity on me. But I've watched Father do the same thing and fail, and I didn't want to risk it.
Let's make something very clear. I don't take pity on the dead. You should not be alive. You shouldn't be walking. You shouldn't be here. If everything that was supposed to be done exactly how it was supposed to happen, if we all had stuck to the actual laws of our Camarilla, of the Masquerade. So, you standing here, and then the mess that followed directly links to you surviving. So do not try to gain favor with me right now just because you happen to break me out from the prison that you yourself, your direct actions, put me in.
She shrugs and just kind of admits, yeah. And I'm not apologizing for my actions. I believe in what I believe in, and I don't believe I should have been sentenced to death, but here we are. So, after you are set loose, you won't see me again. Promise. I won't stay in New York. And you can consider me dead.
Well, we'll see based on the outcome. And he kind of just stares ahead and doesn't really talk again.
And realizing that, she will break from looking to you and turn to her head out the passenger side window, and the camera will whip around, pull out the driver's side, watching the car trail off into the distance before it pans up and pans down on a familiar hole in the ground and near a construction site of a club being rebuilt. A night has passed since Gustav's end. You come together for the first time afterward. You've all reached out to individuals, those you care to keep out of Elysium this evening. But there's still the matter of how you four plan on going about this evening. And as the final person turns the corner, likely Max or Sava, the Coterie comes together. Elysium is in just 2 hours.
Despite the rather pressing situation, Max saunters in with a huge grin on his face. Max Jr.'s perched on his shoulder, and he's feeding him some blood.
And you can hear Max Jr. loudly purring in your ear.
Well, I gotta say, it's like I got a new outlook on life. Whatchamacallit? Giddy is a schoolboy. I'm, Alistair Sim in that last scene there from the Scrooge and whatnot.
It's infectious, Max. I'm very happy for you.
Hey, you there, boy. Go buy me the biggest goose you can, huh?
Well, funny you should say that.
John's in the corner, and John's like, then he looks to Vera. Is that an order, Vera?
No, John. Just a pop culture reference.
And then Max
Right.
Max
I
shouts out
apologize.
to John,
And take it to Bob Cratchit.
Don't, John, stay here. Remember our deal. Stay in the club all night.
Stay in the club all night. Yes.
Yes.
And he sits down on a crickety chair.
Yours is more of a Muppets version, Max, but very charming.
Hey, the Muppet version is one of the best versions, all right?
I agree. Speaking of big geese, my plan this evening is to visit Elysium. I am looking to poach a big goose of my own, so if anyone has any suggestions about who I should save from a very disastrous amount of sunlight, I'm all ears.
Oh, going all in, are we, Sava?
I am nothing if not bold. And he looks at Duke.
All right.
Well, hey, aim high. Save the prince, right?
No, a dark shadow coming out of the corner of the room to save the prince will more likely get my head taken off. No, I am thinking
well.
someone a little further down the rung.
If you're asking my opinion, I think you should avoid that place altogether. You know, no need to worm your way in if you're gonna end up dust yourself.
I know what sunlight tastes like. I'll be fine.
If you say so.
Well, if you're going for shock value, pick a chantry member.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, Duke, you know some of the big wigs at the Chantry, right? Who's somebody who might, prove grateful?
A bit of a tricky question there, Max. I'm afraid that narrowing that down is going to be harder than not.
Oh, what?
If I were you, Sava, I would recommend instead rescuing Aster and extorting him for all his value.
I have my feelings on the matter, but if you want to save Aster, well, then you and I can take it up after.
Your sire, yes?
I'm simply thinking of those with money.
You mean my ball and chain? Yes.
If you want him dust, I'm none the wiser. What was the name of that girl who led us to Gustav's?
Ooh.
She looked tasty.
Oh, yes, the quaint one, the girl next door. What was her name?
Oh.
It's basic.
Does
like
everybody not remember? Duke would
Debbie
remember,
or
probably, I imagine.
Karen
Duke would remember Layla.
I mean, I imagine Duke would remember, but Bub does not remember.
Yeah.
yeah,
Layla.
yeah, Max would
Layla.
remember too
Yes,
because
it was-
of course she really helped him out with achieving his greatest
That's fair,
ambition
too.
of all
So-
time. Like,
Layla, oh, God, I gotta send her some flowers. And, oh, man, I gotta tell Stinky. Jeez. All right, let's concentrate on the present for the moment. Well, let's see. Question. Who are we letting know this is about to occur? I mean, I can drop a dime to Kaiser. He's not a bad guy to have in your debt.
Hopefully, we've already contacted everybody we wanted to contact. If you're going to
I've
get
already put a line out to my sire and to the regent as well.
And I imagine, Max, you would have also dropped a line via bat or rat or something, one of a creature that belongs to maybe a Nosferatu contact to pass along to Kaiser to stay clear of Elysium already.
All right, now I've already done Kaiser's drop-off for him. We still can follow up on that CIA whatnot. Might be valuable, but hey, mission accomplished. I need a big banner for behind me.
I promise you, we'll have a massive piece of art put on our next place that says Gustav's dead.
I'm sorry, everybody. I'm having a little trouble focusing. Oh, man, it was so sweet when his crotch went up like a water balloon filled with blood. And then watching his face as he dusted.
We heard it 3 stories up, so...
Yeah, I'm sorry. Again, I apologize. I know there's important plans that gotta go on here, but
He picks up Max Jr. and is sort of, like when people make cats dance, he's sort of like dancing with him. Like,
that's right, kid. That's right.
You don't have to apologize for your excitement. Hopefully we'll all be terribly excited when this fiasco of the evening is complete. The real question is, how do I look?
You look great, as usual.
Yes, John worked up a new dress, and I thought since it is Elysium and I may have to attend, might as well look good, and if I don't attend, well, I do have a father to woo.
You look killer. But you're not coming to Elysium with me?
Well, I thought I'd wait for our dear father to show up. We do have one more meeting before... And since the decision is really all of ours, maybe we should do it together.
I want to get there with some time, but I can help you beforehand, sure.
Oh, social butterfly, are we, Sava?
No, I just want to make sure that I get there before the Big Bang and not after.
Listen to me, Sava. Elysiums are highly overrated. Bunch of assholes hobnobbing, that's all it is.
I know, I've torn through a couple before.
Fair enough.
That's actually true. Okay, well, I was told I would be contacted, so I'm going to do what I do best and wait.
Time passes. After about an hour, Sava gets his things ready and begins to head off in the general direction of Elysium this evening. And you, Vera, are prepping as well. You have a place that you're supposed to meet Father, a similar coffee shop not too far away. And as you're getting up, as things are gotten ready, I imagine you have a weapon stored, and you never quite know what's going to go down on this.
Oh, I imagine maybe there's if I'm in my dress, I don't want anything to mess with my silhouette, so I've got 2 hair picks, very sharp ones, in the bun, keeping my hair up.
Make your...
As we're getting ready, Max will approach Vera.
So what's the call there, Vera? What do you reckon? You want me close to you?
Honestly, I like all of us close, but I don't really know what his play is. I'm afraid if we simply turn him down, it could end a little bit more violent than we planned.
All right, well, I'm going to be wherever you need me to be. You want me right there beside you? Fair enough. You want me across the street? Tell me where to go.
Stay close, but not too close. I imagine he's got eyes everywhere, and one of them may be able to spot you.
Yeah, I think the odds of that are pretty good, what with all the magic hoodoo and voodoo and whatnot. So, yeah. You thinking in the restaurant itself? I can come in through the back, maybe.
Maybe a spare booth.
You got it.
As you're sorting your plans for the evening, and Duke is on his own, planning his own evening himself. Eventually, obviously, Vera needs to be on her way. There's a place she needs to be, and it's going to take time to get there. We watch as Vera walks outside and steps out into the night sky, a few pedestrians passing by, and a typical argument happening between 2 guys who were clearly a little too drunk for their own good, about a half a block down. But as you step out and are waiting for perhaps Max to make a noise behind you to let him know he's ready to go, can I get a wits awareness?
Oh, I was going to say, before we actually exit, Max is going to let Vera know.
Yep.
Listen, Vera, if they got eyes that can see me, maybe we should take some precautions. So, I'm actually going to be a little further behind you than I might normally be, right? So if someone is observing you, they're not necessarily going to see the invisible guy half a block down, but they might see an invisible guy who is right next to you.
Seems like a good plan. I truly don't think Father has the gall to touch me, but maybe, just maybe, he'll get lucky.
Okay, so I'm not going to be close enough for you to whisper nothing to me, so maybe we should set up some contingencies. under what circumstances you want me to make a play.
Ugh.
Somebody attacks you, sure, but what if someone approaches you?
If I'm in trouble, I imagine it'll be low-key, and he'll probably take me from there. If I feel in danger, I'll remove my gloves before I leave the club, or before I leave the cafe.
All right.
That's how you know things aren't right. If they're still on, just stay close.
You got it.
And so you make your way up the stairs, outside into the city air. And as you walk out, you can see very gentle raindrops beginning to fall. Just a slight drizzle in the night. And then see people, like I said, half a block away arguing. A man has a beer in his hand and drops it as it shatters on the ground, instigating the argument as others just kind of meander by. And as you roll your wits awareness of 2 successes, you're looking as you're about to walk your usual route to where you'll meet up with the car that you'll be taking. Something catches your eye. Across the street at the end of that next block. Normally it wouldn't necessarily bother you, it's just a couple of people walking this way. But the more you look, the more one of them looks familiar. They draw closer as the rain begins to intensify and most of the traffic seems to have dissipated at this point. Those civilians that are around have moved off, leaving this a part of the city street oddly empty. One clearly stands in front of the other by maybe a foot or so. And as they get close enough, you realize why this figure looked so familiar. There stands Sean, striding toward you in his old attire. And just behind him, by a foot, Larson strides in tow.
All right, mate.
He waves, and you hear a familiar voice as he waves you down.
I kind of twiddle my fingers and just over my shoulder. I know Max is not too far yet. I simply say, speaking of A Christmas Carol, I see a ghost, Max. And I kind of wave and point that direction.
Duke, you're welcome to make a wits awareness as conversation is happening upstairs.
It has been quite a while since I last saw you. Larson, when was the last time I saw them?
It's been about a year now, I think.
Bloody
Sean?
hell. Phew. Well, we made up. Me and my sire here. We're best buds now. Isn't that right, Larson?
He simply nods but says nothing. You can hear conversation, Duke. You're not sure of the words, but there's a voice that is extremely familiar.
Question. Is Sean wearing some kind of red cord around his neck?
Same question I was about to ask.
He is.
Yeah, I figured.
You, of course, Father, are aware that Max is somewhere around. And you are also aware that it may appear to just be the two of you. But you covered your bases.
Well, as much as I'd like to stay and chat old times, I'm supposed to be meeting someone.
Yeah, here's the thing. He told me that we should stick together. I can be a go-between.
Funny, because the last time I saw him, he made it very clear he wanted to rip you from my side.
Oh, didn't I tell you? Oh, I'm fully with him now.
Oh, it's funny. Another thing that contradicts the last thing you told me, which is that Sean begged for his life, screamed in pain, woe is him.
Oh.
So what are you playing at, Antoine?
Just thought I'd accelerate things a little bit. It's time for you to make your decision, really.
Oh, yes, and how is that acceleration working out for you?
Stressful, man. I've got a whole bunch of things going on. I've never I've never been so busy. I've never really felt like I've found my place before this, you know? But here I stand, right in front of you,
Well,
and the rest of them.
you kind of didn't. You took your place.
Yeah.
From everybody.
Yeah, I took it.
Well, I had a counter offer. Remember I told you I'd come back with one of those?
Oh, but I'm all ears.
Say the Coterie doesn't leave. Say you and I do.
Don't fuck with me.
It's funny coming from the mouth of Sean.
It's not his mouth anymore. Vera.
Well, counteroffer stands. We could pack our bags and you could leave your little cult behind. New York to suffer and thrive for itself, and you and I could just piss off. You could leave it all behind. We could start over.
You don't mean that?
You want to believe. There's a part of you, Father, that wants to believe. So badly. That her words are true. But every time she's ever offered you some sort of olive branch, a relationship, she's taken it away.
Tell me you mean it.
And how do you want me to do that?
How can I trust you?
A thought comes to mind. She could bond to you.
The only way I can trust you. Take a sip, Vera.
At this moment, Duke has been hearing the conversation, probably made his way close enough where he can at least hear most of the words. Does he stay underground?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he does.
Only if I get to drink from your neck.
Step up to the plate, Vera.
Vera's probably wearing like a theatrical fur or something, and she drops it to the streets of New York. She's a little bit more scantily clad than usual. There's a lot of skin showing as she steps into your space. Vera lifts her hand and removes the right glove very distinctively so Max can kind of see it happen, and it slides down off of her elbow all the way down her arm, and she reaches up and grabs Sean's collar, pulling the fabric back away from his neck and touching his skin with her bare hand, and she leans in to take the bite.
The moment that Max sees the glove, now they didn't really actually get underway, so he's actually fairly close. So he's basically just taking up a position. With Soaring Leap, he's easily within striking distance, even if he's 40 feet away. So.
Okay. So you stand close by as Vera tilts Father's head and looks to sink her teeth in, but as she's about to sink her teeth in, she reaches up with her hand. We watch as she grasps the cord as fully as she can, and I imagine would want to tug on it.
I imagine she goes all the way into the point where fang and tongue touch his neck. As close as you can get before she'll rip the cord off of his neck.
As your hand, as you tilt his head and you watch the tongue just gently graze his skin, the tips of the fang just gently grazing the top of his skin, Vera's hand moves upward, reaches around and immediately fully encompasses and encases the cord. But as you're about to pull, you take 2 aggravated damage, and I need you to make me a fear frenzy roll.
Ooh.
You watch for a moment, Father, Max, as smoke immediately seems to pull from between her fingertips. And as soon as she grabs the cord, she lets it go. And Vera, in a fashion that is not of her own, loses control to the beast. The beast is terrified. What it touched, what powers it grazed, are inhuman and not of this realm. Powers that your beast could not even truly comprehend the depths of which they're pulled. And in that uncertainty, it takes dominance, and Vera runs. As and moves away as quickly as she can. Max sees this. But before Max can say anything, rounding the corner on the block, just down the street, the first car in a long time starts to roll up. But there's time before it arrives fully. Max, you're the closest. Duke, you're still downstairs.
At this point, I think Sean is yelling, "I knew I couldn't trust you!"
Yeah, and his voice cracks as he shouts that, and he says it again. I knew I couldn't trust you! As his voice and vocal cords change, he maintains his body, but the voice becomes that of Father's. You lying bitch! He turns to Larson. Move! And Larson starts to turn, and Father does also turns and begins to walk away as quickly as he can. Kadir, can I get a wits awareness from you?
Yes, sir.
Max, do you act? Vera is running in opposite direction, almost aimlessly, to a busy street not too far away. Duke, you hear the voice shout.
You know something? As tempting as it is to just try to wipe Sean's face off of this guy's skull, I gotta make sure Vera's okay. So I'm gonna soar and leap in her direction. And I should be,
you should be able to cut her off before she gets far. She's not using any celerity powers to, like, bolt away. She didn't critically fail, or he didn't critically succeed.
I'm also in
rather, so you
4-inch
don't have to worry
heels,
about that.
so let's not forget that.
That's also fair. But, I mean, Vera has the dexterity
guess
to
that's
run
true.
in
She
full
does.
power and in any sort of heels of any kind. They're just weapons attached to her feet, as far as I'm concerned. Duke would make his way out.
Yeah, hearing all of this, hearing the points of heels rapidly sprinting out of the building, knowing something had occurred, this is an opportunity for him, and he knows an opportunity when to strike. This is his, so he's going to follow.
Follow Father. Okay. So you step into the street and immediately try and tail. Kadir, as you're approaching, you see these figures off in the distance, illuminated by the light, as you're being brought to where their coterie or their haven once was. They're not going to bring you to Elysium, as Mia has informed you that is a dangerous, even for you, on this evening, and they prefer to bring you to somewhere that she knows is safe. But as they arrive and those figures come into view, you hear Mia mutter to herself, "Oh, fuck." And as you get closer, you watch as somebody shouts something, spins around, and goes towards around a corner. For a moment, you capture the look of Sean's face, followed by Larson. Mia throws the door open as the car is still moving, and she kind of steps out, stumbling and rolling onto the ground as it moves, and she gets up and she immediately starts to run off in the direction of Father. Kadir, the car gets slammed to a stop as she opens the door, and the driver looks confused back but doesn't say or do anything. What do you do?
I think at this point, Kadir gets out rather calmly, very as if though, hey, the car just parked, naturally, and I step out. How far away is Father?
He's like, at this point, I don't know, like 200 feet or so is probably like a good distance.
Okay. 200 feet.
You can close
would
a
like-
chunk of that distance.
I would like to blink and close 150 feet.
Rouse check me. Duke, as you step out from the basement and you see Vera taking off and Father and Sean's body and Larson round the corner, you decide to follow. As you just take your first few steps, a car actually skids up. You watch a door get thrown open and a familiar face, Mia, begin to chase off. As the car comes to its complete stop, perhaps surprising even for you, as the back door opens again, out steps the sheriff of New York City, Qadir. There's a moment you see him. There's a moment where he may even have saw you. But then, he's not there.
I saw them get out of the same vehicle. Then I, as Duke, think that I got through to Mia. I'm going to proceed to follow. About how far away am I?
Probably
from him?
similar distance, 200-ish or so feet away, just down a different angle.
All right, man. Great white shark in it in there. Just
You
predator
move,
prey.
and you follow. The camera will turn, however, to Max first. He lands easily, a good 50 feet in front of Vera as she's making her way, as she's running, basically, as far as she can. You hear Father's voice change and shout, "You bitch."
I'm
You
gonna
try to just, like, grab her?
I'm trying to intercept her and basically just not hurt her in any way, obviously, but just sort of grab her and keep her arms pinned as well. Maybe lift her off the ground so she can't run.
Okay, make me a, for you, it will be a strength brawl check as you just try to grab her and pin her. And if you want to try and escape Vera, that is a dexterity athletics check.
So here's the
I'm just
question.
I'm looking
This
up
isn't
really quickly.
The beast, right? So this is fear. Would she try to escape?
We can even just simply say then, Max is able to scoop you up as you're about to like run. He ripples into existence just as you're about to hit him.
Still all wrapped up, by the way.
Yep, still wrapped up, and he grabs you, and as Vera may even initially attempt to resist or try to break free, as the moments pass and he rounds the corner and disappears out of sight, so too does Vera's immediate need to continue running.
It's
You are
okay,
of
Vera.
yourself.
It's okay, Vera. I got you. It's me, Max. It's Max. You're okay, Vera. You're safe. You're right.
He's got some kind of protection on the cord.
Yeah, we should have figured that. You gonna be okay? You yourself?
Oh, I'll be okay, yes. And she kind of tries to stand up and like get her feet back under her, and she says, "Oh, now I really want to kill him."
Yeah. Sorry, I should have taken a shot at him or Larson, but I was worried about you.
Which, I almost reach up and I have a bare hand and I kind of put it on Max's face as like a very kind show of like friendship and love. And Vera says, "Which way did they go?"
I don't know.
He probably doesn't know, right? Because
He knows like the round of the corner, and that's about all you saw.
And
so
took off.
And as you say that, an old vehicle pulls up, and in the driver's seat you see John. "I heard a kerfuffle.
Oh, John. And I like get
Which
in.
way are we going?"
That way.
As you all pile in, John presses his foot on the gas and begins to drive off. The camera will then trail away down the road amongst some other civilians as we get away from where the club and the event happened. And we see Kadir appear with just a slight whipping of his clothes as the wind follows just behind. You're about 50 feet away from them. Do you say anything?
I think at that point, Kadir doesn't really even try to chase. He stares at him and almost not really loudly. It's not even just it's just a conversational tone. There's no reason for him to be heard, but he just says, "Come here now." And I will use summon.
So you make me a manipulation presence check.
Okay.
And if you can critical succeed, that would be insane. But he does get a roll against you as well, so we'll see. So you these words fall from you as in a conversational tone as you stop 50 feet away, having blinked into existence. And Duke, as what you see is Kadir kind of disappeared. When you round the corner, you see him simply appear in like a good distance away, out of nowhere. You can't hear what he's saying. Hell, you don't even sure if he's speaking or not because you can only see the back of him. But Father does pause. He stops and he looks to Larson. It looks like he says something before he turns around. And they both see you.
See me, Kadir?
Yes, see you, Kadir.
As soon as they turn to me, and I'm assuming they would have to be looking at me for this, I want to use Dread Gaze.
Dread Gaze, another rouse check. How hungry are you at this point?
Just 2.
Just 2? Okay.
Yep. So I'll do another rouse check.
Yep.
Oh, now I'm 3.
Okay, you're at 3 hunger. You're going to need to make me a charisma presence roll. So again, you'll have to raw roll this one.
Okay.
Do you want to rouse again and add 3 more dice to this? Yeah, you're getting dangerous.
What? Whatever. He has had a year of this guy using him as a punching bag. No, nope,
yeah, 4 hunger.
Fine. Oh yeah, that's fine. He has a target.
Yes, it's true, and I get to roll composure resolve against you. You again, you succeed with your dread gaze. You don't critical succeed, however, but with the success, he acts defensively, and as you stare him down, you don't have to say a word. You let the beast inside that has been caged for a year, tortured, beat down, emotionally beat down, let it rear its ugly head, to gaze into him for just the brief moment, your true nature.
I start walking towards him very casually, like clearly in the moment showcasing that you can try and run, but I will still eventually catch you.
Michael Myers walk style.
Yeah. And as he gets close enough to be heard, he just starts saying, "You and I have a game to finish. Don't forget, now it's my inning."
You watch the face of Sean as you take a step forward, quickly look over his shoulder, and begin to contemplate his best escape route. But before he even moves, Larson quickly brings fingers to his lips and does a sharp whistle 3 times, followed by a 4th long one. And at that, Duke, you watch as people begin walking out of apartment buildings, a couple on that side. A homeless person who was drinking over just by the alleyway drops his bottle and walks out. And a few others round the corner, estimating somewhere between 5 or 6 as far as you can see. And they simply start jogging and running in the direction of Qadir.
I think Duke will take this opportunity to compel them elsewhere.
Can you compel, on a wide scale, or is it an individual target?
Individual scale.
So 1 at a time, more or less, as you try to catch their eye.
Yes.
Out of curiosity, considering I do have dread gaze on, is that just one singular target or anybody that sees Kadir?
A single subject.
At this point, I would like to activate Daunt.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
Basically intimidate everybody kind of away from here.
I need charisma dominate from you, Bub, as you try to look at the ones that are near you. There's about 3 of them within earshot of you that you could easily try and shout and grab their attention of to make eye contact.
I'm definitely trying to also avert additional gazes. I'm hoping that my obvious predator will.
Yeah, for mortals especially, for sure.
You said it was charisma.
Yes,
dominate.
sir. You're making a charisma dominate roll, and I am making an intelligence resolve roll.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They don't have a huge pool because they are thin bloods. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yep, you succeed on the first one. So, Duke, as you enter the street and slowly start walking toward what seems to be a confrontation, you hear the sharp whistle pattern, and you see as people start coming out of the woodwork, more or less. And one runs by you, and you're able to quickly, as they run past you, reach your hand out, just grab their shoulder, and they whip around. And in that moment, this middle-aged man with a longer beard makes eye contact. And in that moment, you feel your blood thicken, and your voice, as it carries more than just a message. It carries intention. And what is it that you say to him?
Do I know that this is a mortal or a kindred?
You would be able to tell. Well, it'd be as you reach out and touch them. If your assumptions are correct, you're presuming it's a thin blood.
Your presence will be needed at Elysium. You should be on your way now.
And compel will last. They'll probably run off for a few minutes before they're on their way back. It's not like a permanent thing. It's only like a round or so. And there's their tent. You can feel the tenseness in their body dissipate as you lift your hand away after giving them a command. And he quickly starts going in the opposite direction, the one he came. There are 2 more within earshot, a girl and another boy that are a distance away. And the others are closer, kind of on the other side of Kadir as they're running. They run past Father as Father and Larson kind of round a corner. And Larson, you're obviously being charged by people. You're not sure if these are mortals, ghouls, kindred, or something in between. So, with that said, What is everybody's going to action on this turn going to be as we fall into a sort of initiative?
Yeah. Well, I didn't get a chance to do my daunt roll.
Oh, yeah, please make me your daunt roll.
Okay. For that, is it
You basically,
attacking the user?
anytime you're going to try and intimidate somebody in combat, no, because you don't make a roll, that's what it is. Anytime you're basically trying to intimidate somebody in combat, you're going to add your presence rating to your intimidation roll from now on. So if you want to look at somebody who's coming and trying to intimidate them to stop coming at you, you just get a big ass bonus on your intimidation roll.
Yeah. That's basically he's trying to kind of almost like parting the water sort of a situation where they're coming towards him, but just going to go, like the goal is to avoid him, not want to mess with him, and he's just going to stroll forward towards Father.
Okay, make me a manipulation intimidation with a +4.
Ooh.
As you try to intimidate the ones that are approaching you as quickly as they can. You succeed easily, so your daunt affects, and you actually watch as the two who rounded the corner hesitate for a moment, as I now need to roll their pools. But as they hesitate, they continue pushing, just waiting for a moment before they run forward. Now we move into what is essentially initiative. Everybody kind of tell me what your intentions are. And on this round, Vera and Max, John's car will be rounding the corner, and you'll easily be able to see the events that are taking place on the street just a short distance away. So
let me just tell you this. John gets the order to run Father over.
Okay. All right, yeah. This round you'll be coming around the corner. Next round you'll be in distance, and then John will make the decision.
So
Duke,
Max is in the back of the car, right?
Yes, correct. You could always leave the car if you want to.
Yeah, I think I'll be of more use outside the car than in. So Max is basically, well, if we're gonna run over Father, might as well wait until we run him over to get out. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so Duke, we'll start with you as you are going. You're essentially just trying to grab the attention of somebody nearby. Yeah. For you, just a simple charisma intimidation, I think, as you're just trying to call their attention. I think that'd be the best way to do so.
Okay. Would I get my my proficiency on this?
And what is your
for coercion?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. And my goal is to rationalize. That's what I like to do.
Makes sense. And you still succeed. You could always willpower it if you wanted to. But
no, if I feel like I have his attention,
you easily catch the closest one, the one that's within earshot, the shortest distance away. And as they stop under the nearest streetlight, they kind of stop themselves by placing their hand up against it, dink and turn around as though they're being jumped. And as they whip around, once again, this young man's eyes lock with yours.
No, friend. Some things have to play themselves out. He's made his bed, and now it's time to lie in it. You agree, don't you?
He likely does agree. Oops. Yeah, he agrees. And as you said, don't you agree, don't you? He doesn't even hesitate. He just nods his head. Yeah. And he, again, much like the one before, kind of turns back the way that he came. Kadir, these two people are clearly still planning on engaging you, no matter how much your beast tries to ward them off. Do you just... what is it that Kadir ends up doing in terms of action?
Is there a street light nearby?
Of course.
Can I rip it out and use it like a bat?
You are welcome to make an attempt to do so. I don't think you have any special things to buff your strength too much.
I think it's just he has the fortitude stat.
Yeah, that makes you harder to hit, but harder to hurt.
Okay.
But you're looking at making. You have a 6-die pool. It'd probably be easier for Kadir to go to a metal pole and a chain link fence and rip that up.
Something like
Than
whatever's
something
similar
like.
to...
Yeah. I think Max could do it because he has the powers for it. So please make me a strength brawl. Do you want to rouse check to add 3 dice to this? You are at 4 hunger, mind you, though.
No.
Okay. So just roll me the straight 3d6. You watch Duke from the distance as the others kind of train their eyes on them and adjust their angle as he runs over to the side of the road. A simple chain link fence that's been ripped and broken down over here, and he just places 2 hands around it, and with a simple yank, the concrete base gets ripped from the ground, dirt kicks out as blades of grass kind of land in clumps around him. Now he wields a rather large metal pole that has as it's finished being pulled from the ground, you can hear the tin kind of echo from the clanging as it gets yanked out. And as you whip around, the thin blood at this point are basically within just a few feet, and you get to witness something you haven't seen before. As they get close, they both seem to kind of rip into their skin with their teeth, and very quickly, what seems to be thick, thin blood vitae dries to a black, charred mass. And from the wounds on their wrists they ripped into, cracks begin to form, going down the forearm, spreading like spider-webbed glass down their arms, and peering through, almost as though it's the very force causing the cracks. Light begins to emit like sunbeams, and you watch on their face as they're in clear pain, one of them even collapsing to their knees, screaming. Next round.
I was going to say, do we see this happening? We've seen this.
You can see it from the distance, a little bit of light beginning to emit from behind Kadir.
Oh,
And Vera, at this point, you see as you round the corner and get close enough, Kadir standing there, alive. And you see light around him.
Well,
Duke
howdy,
is-
Sheriff.
You can't hear them
No,
in the
no,
car.
he's,
They're
he's-
barreling
he's just-
forward. He's like
he's
talking to
saying it-
himself.
He's in the car saying that. And as he sees, Max reaches into his pocket and pulls out a pair of sunglasses with, and it just sort of puts them on and then ducks down behind the seat.
Yeah, Vera gets slow and she says, "Quickly, John, as fast as you can, hit those people."
You hear the engine roar as you perhaps even duck down as well as the sunlight begins to emit. Well, Duke, you would see the sunlight beginning to crack as well, and you don't know if you're in range or not of it hurting. What would Duke want to do in response?
I mean, I'm right next to an alley.
Yeah,
correct?
there's an alley you could duck behind. There was just one more you could get to, but it would be risky to try and...
Sure. How far away are they from me?
Which ones? The one that you can get to, or the ones with like sunlight cracking?
Yeah. The one that I could get to
maybe
easily.
50 feet.
Okay. I believe that if I can't draw their attention, then I'm just going to dip into the
You
alley.
could. It would just be risky because you wouldn't have time to move into the alley before they pop, and you're not sure.
And you said they're about 50 feet
Yeah,
away?
50 feet-ish away, as like what my mind is saying, but a decent distance.
Sure. Yeah, if I can't get his immediate attention to around the alley, then this is where I am. Then I'll dip into the
So
alley.
you peeled two away, and then we watched Duke kind of dive into the alleyway. Welcome back, by the way. Looking to you, actually. Do you want me to wait for his upload to go, Dot, before we push forward? No? Okay. Kadir, my question to you is: you might have an opportunity to take a single action before these guys pop. Do you take one? What do you want? What would you do? Do you try to get out of the way? Do you try to dive to cover? Do you try to take off one of their heads?
That's the question. So
You've never seen
Kadir-
this before.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to
No,
ask.
this is
Okay,
nothing
so
you've
I'm
ever
not
seen
a bear.
before. You have no idea what's really about to happen.
But it doesn't look
Doesn't look good.
good. It seems dangerous. So I think, oh man. What is my hunger at again? Oh, I'm at 4.
Yeah, you're at 4. Yeah.
What can I do? The only thing I can think of doing is blink out of the way.
You would have to rouse check for it, but that would definitely guarantee you safety.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I think. I'll blink towards Father.
Try to go in the
Does it
direction
have
he
to
went.
be? It's up to 50 feet. I mean, 50
Up
meters.
to
right?
150, up to 50 meters. Yeah, it can be
Yeah,
shorter
100.
than that.
Okay, so I'll.
But you don't know where Father went. He rounded a corner and then.
Oh.
Yeah. That's like he like ran past them as they cut off, and then he's had a couple of rounds now of just kind of being out of sight. But you can go in that direction and maybe see him.
Would it have to be on ground level, or can it be 50 or 150 meters or 50 feet in any direction?
It actually has to be in a straight line. So
Right. In the sense of like, if I would it have to be like some kind of a physical thing that I need to walk on to get through it, or can I like blink up to like a rooftop?
I think you'd have to stay on the same level that you
Okay.
are. That's what the power is about. So you can basically go kind of in the direction of Father. Ooh,
Okay.
you're at 5 hunger. Ooh. Oh, baby. Okay. And you blink. Which way do you want to go? Forward or backwards? Because Duke's back that way, but forward, you wouldn't be able to round the corner, essentially. Like, you would have to blink forward past where Father went. So which way would you want to go?
Forward.
Okay, so you watch, Duke, as you dip into an alleyway, you watch as Kadir is gone. He disappears down the road somewhere. And as you pin your back up against it, you simply see a bright flash. But not before a car rips by you at full speed. Kadir and Max on the inside. And as they're about to pop, you hear a loud thump as the car hits these two people. And you see a body go flying, and halfway in the air is when it pops into sunlight, illuminating the road before it for just a second or so. And the other one, as it gets hit and sent under the car, the light is muffled underneath the car, as only sunlight beams out on two sides very, very briefly. And the car skids forward for a moment, and as it slides to a stop, John, like holding, a very old man style steering wheel, slams forward as his head kind of clocks as he's got his hands on like 11 and 4. And as he steps back with a now clear bruise on his head, he looks back over to Vera. I think I got them.
Oh, well done, John. I sling the passenger door open and yell, "Get in!"
As you sling the passenger door open, you actually hear rapid footsteps rather close. And as you turn the corner, there's that last one that Duke wasn't able to turn, running up, and you watch as he's running, hands in the air. For Kane! For Father! And as he runs forward, cracks. Do we see Vera try and slam that door shut as fast as she can?
Yeah, absolutely. Do I have
Can I get a
how much
dex
time do I
athletics?
have to react? Yeah.
Like 3 seconds, around.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know what? This actually, I should be able to use fleetness for this because it is a non-combat based. So
Yeah,
even faster, just as fast as I can close that door.
So give me that with
So
your
plus 2
celerity added to it, right?
Yep, correct. 5 successes.
5 successes. 5 successes, the door opens, and as you realize what's happening and you can hear him exclaiming his loyalty, the door shuts in like a lightning quick snap, and Vera dives down underneath to try to avoid the windshields, as Max does as well, I imagine. And you all can hear the spatter of body parts spew into the air before it turns to ash. And as you look out the window, you can see the dark gray ash mixing with the rain as it falls outside the window. And again, Vera probably opens the door, summoning everybody to come in. But our camera cuts for a brief moment. Sava is mingling in Elysium. Crowds passing by. You've had conversations with those you deem worthy of saving. But there's somebody here you're looking for.
Now, he's been mulling this over between Arturo and Layla, and Arturo didn't seem very fun.
Sava wanders, I imagine, Elysium have the drink in hand, mingling with others, telling them lies of who he once was and who he is now. And you begin to realize, as the night goes on, more and more unfamiliar faces are being walked in.
Can I find Layla?
Wits invest. I will say you have the opportunity to find one person of your choosing. Who do you want to find?
Yeah,
Layla?
Layla.
After a few moments of mingling and maybe 30 minutes to an hour, you find her chatting with some face you don't recognize over by a table about her favorite pieces of art that are being displayed and what new pieces Arturo has brought to the collection that she's fond of. And as you stand astride next to her and she catches your face, she smiles in recognition. Glad to see everything went well.
Yes. I'm afraid we don't have much time. Which of you beautiful Camarilla friends of mine would like to owe me a favor? and help me ingratiate myself with this esteemed institution.
So you would owe us a favor.
Oh no, you're going to owe me. Come, there's a back room I found. It's a bit more private. A lot less.
Manipulation, persuasion, please. Sava.
Ooh. Not very good at that, so I'm gonna rouse check.
Okay. You don't get hungrier.
Couple of extra dice. 2.
She looks and pauses for a moment, and then she actually places a hand on her friend's shoulder that she was chatting to. Where I can go, she can go.
Of course, a bodyguard never hurt anyone. Your sire hasn't told you exactly what's going on tonight. Follow me.
They look mildly interested, but they do follow. And you lead them. Outside of Elysium, I imagine, not too far away, where it's still in sight. But a nearby building that you ensured was empty, with windows that could be blacked out, and a door that could be guarded and locked. And as you gesture to this small, rundown building maybe a couple blocks away, they do pipe up and question what exactly is happening and what's going on. The Regent would be none too pleased if one of her own apprentices went missing on the night of Elysium. Do you know what you're messing with?
Believe me, it's not you that's going missing tonight.
That causes them to stop.
I have found a safe place for you. And if you need me to spell it out, I will. I do not have patience for flowery words.
She looks like she's going to say something, but then swallows her words and marches forward with you into the building. As the door shuts and you're even about to start explaining, the camera whips out, rises above the city skyline, encompassing as much of New York as it can. And in that moment, for maybe 2 seconds, we see an enormous glow of light illuminate city blocks worth. And just as quickly as it happens, the light contracts. And as the light contracts, we go dark with it. And we'll return next week for the final episode of Stitch of Fate. Bye, everybody.
Oh, hi. It's me, Vera. While you're taking a break, take a moment to visit dieharddice.com. Die Hard Dice is a sponsor of this little podcast. They make what we do possible. During checkout, make sure to use the code DRACPAK, DRACPAK, and you'll get 10% off your entire purchase. And we get a little cut for our own resources. Sounds like we only roll with the best.